a second.
I encourage you all to send in questions for Mimi. The YouTube live is still loading.
Okay, it should be good.
Okay, so I'm gonna get started with asking you your first question. Whenever you start speaking, Rochelle will start the 5-minute timer. Okay. So your first question is, what new ideas or improvements would you like to implement if you gain the position of IVP?
Okay, so something that I felt pretty strongly about that I didn't get to mention was that I feel like, especially with like this constant flow of sometimes disheartening and upsetting news that we're getting on social media and just media in general, I really want to be able to check in with all of our members. And I know that Regina has been doing that through the How's Your Heart on our little newsletters, but I also feel like it would be really useful to do maybe a little check-in at the beginning of every office hours session. So maybe 15 minutes just to give people a space to talk about how they're feeling, if there's anything that they want to discuss within the Troy Phi community, because I know that a lot of the times the most productive conversations and the most honestly cathartic conversations can come from more casual settings and ones where you feel really comfortable. So yeah, I definitely want to implement that. And then I would also like to do, if possible, CDC guidelines permitting, all of that, little field trips for the leadership program. So like for my freshman year, I was able to go to a Beat Rock Music Festival, which is like a Filipino owned music, like record label. And I thought that was a really fun experience. It was like a concert and there were a lot of vendors and things like that. And I feel like that would be a really valuable thing to invite all of the leadership interns to and help everyone discover new parts of their identity that they might not have been able to at home.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Your next question is, how would you work to resolve an issue within members of TP, and how would you go about resolving conflict among board and general members?
Okay, this is a good question. I think that hopefully, assuming that we are in person, I would want to give people a chance to talk in person in an environment that didn't necessarily feel as professional or formal as board meetings or general member meetings, honestly. So if people felt like they needed to meet about something, they could set up a time with me to talk about whatever they might be feeling uneasy about or whatever might be making them uncomfortable or whatever conflict has arisen. And if needed, then we could also plan to meet with another party and hopefully talk things out in a way that felt a little bit less formal and also didn't feel like people ganging up on each other and instead allowed for one-on-one personal conversations.
Okay, your next question is, how will you create a comfortable space for new interns?
Okay, I think because I'm assuming a lot of the leadership interns won't have really been on campus, if at all. So I feel like it would be a really fun idea to maybe have some intern meetings take place on different parts of campus, like outside in different parks or places around USC so that people could feel more comfortable in this environment that's very new and sometimes unfamiliar. Just so everyone feels like they're maybe on a little bit, they're able to explore the campus a little bit more. And I also would want to give people the chance to, I was thinking about the My Why project, and I think that it would be a really great way to continue working on like leadership skills and self-development skills as new members to check in on the My Why project at the end of the year, because I know that was a really, really valuable project for me as a new member, and it really made me feel connected to more members to learn about their whys as well.
Okay, your next question is, do you believe Troy Phi is or should be political, and to what extent?
I think that Troy Phi is honestly inherently kind of a political org because being Filipinos and Filipino American, there's a lot of issues that have affected our families and ourselves and affect the Philippines and American relations to the Philippines and so many things like that. The list goes on and on. So I feel like being in a Filipino org, it's really important to stay up to date and be informed on issues that are affecting Asian Americans, Filipinos back in the Philippines, and just having an understanding of how our actions here affect people in other places. So to what extent, I wouldn't want Troy Phi to feel like a place where people didn't feel comfortable voicing their opinions, but I would want it to be a place where people are able to feel like they can become more informed on issues that they might not already know about. So like I really, really liked the collab that we did with Ideas, because I feel like it was a great way to learn about political issues that we might have been afraid to speak about with others otherwise. And I think it would be a great idea to expand that into more orgs that deal with like social advocacy and political issues like that.
Okay, thank you, Nini. That is time. Thank you so much.